Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield, and I'm the Get Fit Guy. In the episode, Does Super Slow Training Work?, you learned that when you do a type of weightlifting called super slow training, you can actually increase tension in your muscles by decreasing the speed of the movement. And this helps you gain strength and lean muscle more quickly, but only if you actually have time to go to a gym and do all of your weightlifting at half speed or slightly slower. Well, later in an episode entitled, Is Weightlifting Bad for Your Heart?, you also learned how slow and controlled weightlifting like this can not only make you strong and lean, but could actually give you a significant increase in your cardiovascular aerobic fitness without actually requiring you to hit the bike or spend a long time on the treadmill. Now, I'll link to both of those previous shows in the show notes over at quickanddirtytips.com. But today, you're going to learn how to boost cardiovascular fitness, strength, muscle building, and more without ever stepping foot into a fancy gym by using something that kind of depends on a couple of those same concepts that you learned with super slow training and the episode about weightlifting for your heart. It's a technique called isometric training, and today you're going to learn everything that you need to know about it. So, on my personal blog over at Ben Greenfield Fitness, in a podcast episode aptly titled How Underground Russian Techniques from Old Soviet Training Journals Can Turn You into an Endurance Beast, I know, that's a little much, I interview a coach named Jay Schroeder, who works with professional athletes from around the world. And Jay uses this technique called isometric exercise, or what he calls extreme isos, to enhance the results that his athletes get. And even if you're not, say, a professional football player, you can still take advantage of these same training techniques. Now, the term isometrics combines the Greek words isos, which means equal or the same, and metron, which means distance or measure. And so it refers to a muscle contraction that doesn't actually have any visible movement in the angle of your joints. This is in contrast to traditional moving contractions, which are often called isotonic contractions, in which your muscle length and your joint angle actually change as you do the exercise. So let me give you an example. If you've ever performed a wall squat in which you sit in an imaginary chair with your back against a wall for as long as you possibly can, then you're familiar with isometric exercising. Your legs are burning, but you're not budging an inch. Other popular examples of isometric exercises that you may have done or may have seen before are the front plank hold, the side plank hold, and the abdominal hold called the boat in yoga and also in Pilates. Now, if you really want to take isometric exercises to the next level, you can use this technique called extreme isometrics, in which you kind of cheat and actually do move your muscles, but you move them very, very slowly, taking as long as 5 to 10 minutes to complete a single repetition. Now, as you can imagine, this takes intense focus. Go ahead and just try and do a 10-minute push-up and see what happens to your entire body. You won't need any other workout for the day. Now, why do isometric exercises actually work? Well, in addition to all the cardiovascular and strength benefits that I explained in the episode Does Super Slow Training Work?, such as increased cardiac output, better training of your muscles to pump lactic acid, and increased ability to withstand external forces, isometric exercises actually also result in better muscle utilization and muscle coordination. Think about it this way. Whether you're running a marathon, shoveling snow, or lifting a piece of furniture, if the wrong muscles are turning on for any given movement, then you have poor technique. And this means you increase your risk of injury and you produce less than ideal force. But your body can learn how to use the correct muscles, and just like any movement, it's easier for your body to learn how to do this when you train slowly, or you hold a position with an emphasis on maximally activating the specific muscle groups on which you want to work. Now, when you hold a position or you move through it more slowly, you simply have less distraction and more time under tension for any particular position you're trying to learn or perfect. So you're able to sense the proper muscles that you need to activate and better understand how to get there. Now, another benefit to isometrics is that while you're learning how to utilize the proper muscles for any given movement, you are also training your joints to move through their full range of motion. So as you move slowly through or deeper into a specific joint angle, like let's say a lunge, there's a significant amount of stretch placed on the fascia, which is that layer of fibrous connective tissue that surrounds your muscles. In the case of the lunge, all of your quadriceps and your hamstrings and your upper thigh muscles. So as this stretch occurs, you get enormous increases in range of motion and flexibility in your hips that far exceed what you might experience from a regular stretching protocol. For example, by performing the 5-minute-long deep isometric doorway push-ups, such as the exercise demonstrated in the video that I'll link to in the show notes, I've found that my shoulder range of motion has significantly improved. And the nice part is I can do isometric exercises with my own body anytime, any place. In an airport, at a bus stop, in a park, in my basement, in my backyard. You get the idea. This is cool stuff that makes it so that you don't have to go to a gym. So how can you utilize isometrics in your weekly workout routine? Well, you don't need much. You can just include a weekly or even an every other week workout in which you incorporate at least one isometric move or a series of moves performed very slowly or simply held for a long period of time. For example, I'm going to give you a bunch of exercises in just a moment, and you could simply perform one set of each of these exercises, timed so that it takes you 10 to 60 seconds to go up and 10 to 60 seconds to come back down. Or you could simply hold each exercise in its hardest position for as long as you possibly can, up to 5 minutes long. So here are some sample exercises. A push-up. You could hold a push-up in the top position or in the bottom position for a good 5 minutes, or you could do a 10 to 60 second push-up, down and up. Pull-up. Same thing with pull-ups. You can use an assisted pull-up machine if you do want to do it at the gym. You could use a pull-up bar installed in the door of your office like I have. Or if you have difficulty doing a pull-up with either of those apparati, you could get a suspension trainer, one of these moves like a Most Fit or a TRX suspension trainer, and just use that to do a super slow pull-up. Now, exercise number 3 would be a dip, which you could do with a chair or a park bench by simply dipping down, putting a lot of emphasis on your triceps and your shoulders, and dipping up, either holding the dip in its hardest position for a long time or taking that 10 to 60 seconds to go up and 10 to 60 seconds to go back down. Next, you could do a lunge in which you, for example, put your right foot forward and your left foot back and just slowly lower your body up and down, or hold that lunge in its hardest position. And then finally, you could do the famous teeth-grittingly hard wall squat, in which you just sit in an imaginary chair with your back against the wall for as long as you possibly can. Now, another isometric technique you can use is to simply do isometrics when you'd normally be standing around anyways, like doing a wall squat while you're on hold on the phone, or holding a push-up position during the commercial break of a TV program, or during the entire episode of a Get Fit Guy podcast. I dare you. Go ahead and try it out. Now, if you have more questions about isometric training, you can leave them over at facebook.com/getfitguy. If you need ideas for more workouts or you want to get a workout that is customized to your unique body type, you may want to check out my book, Get Fit Guy's Guide to Achieving Your Ideal Body, which is over at getfitguy.com. Until next time, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.